What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is Orioles Today, and as always, I am Sean Ferguson. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this latest episode, and we are still in the middle of Thanksgiving week, so I appreciate you spending a little time on this channel during the holiday week. And if you're a fan of this episode, please throw a turkey leg at the like button. And if you're a fan of this content, please subscribe. Get yourself daily notifications for all of these daily video drops covering all things the Baltimore Orioles. I wanted to start off this episode actually talking about two teams that are not the Orioles, but it was a trade that went down a few days ago, and it was for two bigger names with a lot of money being involved. And you have seen these trades happen more and more recently. These one-for-ones, you're not seeing a lot of prospects involved at all. The Orioles themselves are just involved in one with the Angels, Rodriguez for Ward. And you've seen a few others happen. This one is bigger just because of how much money is involved with these two guys' contracts. But Brandon Nimmo officially traded from the New York Mets to the Texas Rangers, and Marcus Semien over to the New York Mets. And this is a one-for-one trade, no prospects involved. A lot of people were confused by that just because Semien didn't have the greatest year last year. So they figured there might be a little bit more involved there, but there is not. It is a one-for-one. And when it comes to money, Semien still has 3 years and $72 million left owed to him out of his 7-year, $175 million contract he signed with the Rangers back in the 2021-2022 season. And Nimmo has a little bit over $101 million left owed to him through the 2030 season. The Mets are also sending $5 million to the Rangers to help offset the difference between the two contracts as best they can to try to make it as even as possible for the money owed to these two guys. This move isn't very surprising. The Mets, rumors have been around that the Mets were shopping Nimmo, but Nimmo did have that no trade clause and he decided to waive it. So that move is not surprising, and it's not surprising by the Rangers either. They just non-tendered Adolis Garcia, so it does look like that Brandon Nimmo is going to be that replacement for Garcia in Texas. I know a lot of Mets fans are going to be sad to see him go, being Nimmo. He was very well liked there in his time with the Mets organization, but he is now a Texas Ranger, and I'm interested to see how that fits for both guys, both people, the Rangers and Nimmo, and we'll see how Semien does in a new environment over there in New York. And something I wanted to get into, Orioles side of things, it's not involving players. It is actually involving the broadcast, which interests me. Jeff Arnold will no longer be the radio broadcaster moving forward in Baltimore. He has been the Orioles radio broadcaster since 2019 when he took over for Jim Hunter, who had been the longtime Orioles broadcaster on radio. And Arnold also filled in on the TV broadcast for Kevin Brown when Brown was not there. So it's just 6 seasons, and Arnold is out. He was also the director of public relations and broadcasting for the Frederick Keys from 2014 through 2020. So again, he's been with the Orioles organization for a while, but the Orioles themselves for the last 6 years, and he will not return for the 2026 season. Brett Hollander and Ben Wagner, they are expected to return, and there has been no word yet of who they're thinking about to fill Arnold's shoes when it comes to the radio broadcast. So sad to see Arnold go. Again, just 6 years with the O's organization, but the O's will not be looking for a new radio broadcaster. And getting into the players' side of things, they are, I know, including myself and a lot of us other fans out there, know that the Orioles really need at least 2 more arms in that rotation. We talk about this on a lot of these episodes. We need bats too, I know, and we talked about bats here and there, and I know there's still all these rumors that the O's are still all in on Kyle Tucker, or they could still be in on Pete Alonso, and we will see what happens. You know, the ownership has come out and said, in a nutshell, money's not going to be a problem. We have the money to spend, and the money is available to spend. And Mike Elias has come out and said we are going to be very aggressive. And I'm seeing reports everywhere that the O's are going to be very aggressive this offseason. And honestly, I think they have been. I think the O's have been aggressive. Now, they might have not gotten the guys that you want them to get so far, but just what the Orioles have done so far, I believe they have been pretty aggressive. They've already made 3 trades. They've been very active on the waiver wire, and I think you're really going to start to see it soon. And when I say see it soon, I mean you're going to start to see a lot of these bigger names go off the board, and don't be surprised if the Orioles are going to be involved in a few of them. And when it comes to trades, there is a guy that the Orioles could definitely be interested in that I wanted to touch on again. It's Sandy Alcantara. Why not? The only issue, I get why. He is in the middle of a 5-year deal. He's got a little over $17 million owed to him for 2026. He's also got a $21 million club option for 27. But the reason why you might be a little bit wary of him is just how last season went. 11-12 with a 5.36 ERA. It isn't terrific of what he's just coming off of, but he's got a career 3.65 ERA. And he's only 30 years old. I know I've seen a lot of comments out there of, do not get a guy who's 32 or over, 32 or over, 32 or over. Well, he is under that, but he does have a chunk of change coming his way next year with the possibility of even more money coming his way in 2027. So again, he did not have the greatest 2025 for the Marlins. But I mean, this is a guy that you could throw in the middle of that rotation or the back end if they are still interested in going after a guy who is front end worthy, like a Dylan Cease. You could put him right at the front of your rotation. You move back Trevor Rogers, and you still got Kyle Bradish. Those are 3 rock star pitchers. It doesn't have to be Cease, but if you go after another guy who's ace worthy, you get 3 solid pitchers, leaving you room to get a guy who doesn't have to be another top end guy. He could be a strong middle rotation guy for you as well. And I'm not saying, hey, go get Alcantara and make him middle rotation. If he can prove that he's still front end worthy, you're going to be paying him that way. So $17 million is nothing to scoff at. You can still put him up there, especially if injuries arise. Easily put him up to the front end, and he's a guy that you can rely on for that. And that's what you're hopeful for. You're going to be paying this money because you are getting him via trade, so it's not like you can renegotiate contracts at that point, but you'd be bringing him in. You would have to give up something pretty good for him on top of paying him what he's owed this upcoming season. But then you're going to be hopeful that he's able to have a turnaround season from what he just did in 2025. So it wasn't his best season. It could have been worse, but the numbers that he showed were more middle to back end rotation. But if you're going to go after him, I would think they will be more middle to front end rotation. But he is definitely a guy that the Orioles should consider. And I know I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this one, but why not maybe think about a Merrill Kelly signing? He's a free agent, and I know what I just said, well, a lot of you guys are saying, and that is, do not go after a pitcher that is over 32 years old, and I would be breaking the rules with this one. But Merrill Kelly could be a back-end guy that you could have more middle if injuries happen, things happen. He can be a depth piece for you too. I've seen rumors about what his contract can be, maybe 2 years, $30 million. I don't think you're going to have to pay. Somebody could pay him that. I don't think that's what he's going to get this year. It might be a little lower, but even if that is something that you pay for Merrill Kelly, it could be a more middle to back end. Alcantara will be a guy who's more middle to front. He could be more middle to back, and he'd be a great depth piece as well. And again, he's 36, about to be 37, and he's just coming off a 12-9 year where he went with a 3.54 ERA, so his numbers could have been a lot worse. He's carrying a 3.77 career ERA. So, yes, you would be signing a guy who's a little bit older, but, I mean, you just had Sagano, who never pitched in the big leagues, 35 years old. So, it would be a risk. But you could get him on a 1-year deal, which would leave you not having to pay him as much, maybe a 1-year deal with a second-year option. But I don't think it's a bad idea at all to consider him. You get a nice veteran pitcher in there. And he's not a 40, 41-year-old. He's 36, 37 years old. And he's proven. He's proven to be a reliable arm. And there was another guy I was going to bring up, which I'll bring up in a second. But Merrill Kelly, I think, would be a great addition for the middle to back end of that rotation. He'd be a nice veteran presence, and his numbers have been strong. Now, I get it. He's only going to get older, so those numbers could decline if he does come to Baltimore, and that would be the risk you take. But you could continue to reshape that rotation and have a very strong guy on the back end there. And another guy I thought about was Edward Cabrera. He'd be another guy from the Miami Marlins that you would have to trade for, but he has team control through 2029. I know you guys are probably like, you're crazy. He's dealing with injuries right now. I get it. I understand it. I know what we just went through with Grayson Rodriguez. He didn't pitch at all in 2024. And there's rumors and reports about Cabrera having issues with his elbow, even though he's pitching right now, and the 2026 season could be in jeopardy. I understand that. Last year, he went 8-7 with a 3.53 ERA. He's got a career 4.09 ERA, 25 and 29 record. So there's risk with this one. But I feel like when they just gave away Rodriguez, and I think when you compare the two, Rodriguez is a better fit than Cabrera is. But if you think about it from this side, if he is dealing with injuries and he might miss a good portion of next season, you could give up prospects, but not any super high caliber ones, to keep the risk really low. Because even say he doesn't miss all of next year and he's still someone you have through 2029, and you can see what you have with him. And if he's not kind of what you thought, you could still turn him around. You didn't lose as much. You could turn around and send him elsewhere. But I also thought about the possibility there, mainly because of the team control. He has it through 2029. He will not break the bank at all. He's barely making anything. And even with the, like I said, with the injuries, there's a chance you can get him out a lot cheaper. But don't chew my head off for that one, guys. But guys, thank you so much for tuning into this latest episode. If you were a fan of this episode, please throw a turkey leg at the like button. And if you're a fan of this content, please subscribe. Get yourself daily notifications for all of these daily video drops. I do really appreciate you tuning in to this latest episode. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one, guys. This was Orioles Today. I am Sean Ferguson, and let's go O's.